Have you ever wondered why some of the most peaceful people you've met are also the ones who've walked through the most chaos? Why the calmest eyes often belong to those whose lives have burned and broken more than once? We often think peace is soft, that it lives in stillness, in quiet retreats, in safe places. But what if I told you peace is not a place you escape to? It's a presence you carry, especially when everything around you is falling apart. This is not the peace of sleep. This is the peace of someone who knows exactly why they're tired and chooses to keep walking anyway. Because there's something sacred about exhaustion that comes from meaning. Something beautiful about being worn down by a purpose you believe in. We've been sold a myth that a good life should be balanced, that we should divide our days into neat little boxes. 8 hours work, 8 hours rest, 8 hours play. That growth should be gentle, like yoga, not like war. But if you've ever built something real, you know that's not how it works, especially in the first years. The early days of building a business, the fragile beginnings of starting over after a collapse, the quiet, invisible work of healing. Those days aren't balanced, they're brutal. You wake up already behind. You work until your spine aches. You worry about rent, about time, about whether this will even work. You miss birthdays, you cancel dinners, you forget what rest even feels like. And yet if you're doing it for the right reasons, somehow, strangely, you still feel at peace. Not the kind of peace that's soft, the kind that's earned, the kind that says, I'm tired, yes, but I'm also moving. There are two kinds of peace, the peace of rest and the peace of becoming. One happens when you pause. The other happens as you push forward. One is the quiet of stillness. The other is the quiet inside the storm, the whisper that says, this matters, keep going. We often confuse the two. We chase vacation, silence, detachment, thinking that means we're living peacefully. But peace is not always the absence of noise. Sometimes it's the presence of meaning. True peace isn't about sitting still, it's about standing steady, even when your schedule is chaos, even when your body is tired, even when nothing outside you feels stable. But inside you, there's an anchor. Some people think they're failing because they feel overwhelmed. But what if overwhelm isn't failure? What if it's just a sign of stretching? You're not meant to stay in balance all the time. You're meant to grow, and growth pulls you off center before it stabilizes again. It's like climbing stairs, step by step, effort by effort. Sometimes the climb is steep and you barely catch your breath. But then, every so often you reach a landing, a small flat surface, a moment to pause, to breathe, to reflect. That's the peace of rest. But what gets you there is the peace of striving, the peace of progress, the peace of this hurts, but it's worth it, the peace of I know why I'm doing this. You're not broken just because you're tired. You're not lost just because your days are full. You're simply walking through your next becoming. There's a strange trend in modern spiritual thinking. People believe that peace means avoiding stress, avoiding noise, avoiding pressure. They call it living in the present. They say things like, I just want to feel ease. I just want to do what flows. I don't chase anymore. I attract. But let's be honest. Sometimes life demands that you chase, that you run, that you break a sweat, stay up late, and do things that hurt. Not because you're desperate, but because you're devoted. Not because you're in survival mode, but because you're in evolution. There's a time to rest, but there's also a time to fight, to grind, to go all in. And the people who confuse rest with avoidance, they stop evolving, they stop stretching, they stop becoming. Don't idolize stillness if it means you're staying small. Now, let me be clear. There are moments when the chaos isn't just hard, it's too much. When your body isn't just tired, it's breaking. That's when you pause. That's when you find what I call peace in rest. Not the escape kind, the recalibration kind. It's like the car pulling into the rest stop after a long highway stretch. You don't stop because you're giving up. You stop because your engine needs a moment. Because even machines need oil. And even warriors need water. You pause, you exhale, you let your soul catch up to your body. And when it does, you rise again. Life is a staircase. We climb, we rest, we climb again. If you pay attention, you'll notice the world already runs on this rhythm. A day has work hours, then night. A week has weekdays, then weekends. A year has seasons. A life has cycles. The problem isn't the chaos. The problem is not knowing where you are in the rhythm. Some people try to rest when it's time to climb. Others push themselves long past the warning signs. Wisdom is knowing, this is my season to move, or this is my moment to pause. And peace comes from honoring that truth, whatever it is. We hear a lot about living in the present, but living in the present doesn't mean ignoring your future. It doesn't mean you stop planning, stop building, stop moving. It means whatever you're doing, do it fully. If you're building, build with clarity. Know why you're tired. If you're resting, rest completely. Turn off the noise. Being present isn't about stillness. It's about awareness. Awareness of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're becoming in the process. There's a kind of fatigue that breaks you because it has no meaning. And there's a kind of fatigue that builds you because it's tied to purpose. I've learned you can be tired and still be at peace if you know why you're tired. That's the difference. If you're chasing someone else's dream, your exhaustion will feel hollow. If you're avoiding your own truth, your rest will feel haunted. But if you're walking your own path, even when it's hard, even when it's thankless, there's a strange joy that lives inside the pain, like a soft light in the middle of a tunnel, like a song humming underneath the noise. That's peace, not comfort, not escape, not perfection. Just the deep, quiet knowing, I'm in the fire, but this fire is making me. So if you're tired, don't panic. Ask yourself, am I tired because I'm lost or because I'm becoming? If it's the second, then rest when you must, but don't quit. Let your exhaustion teach you. Let the climb shape you. Let the noise become music. Because the peace you seek is not found at the end of the road. It's something you build with every messy, painful, beautiful step. You don't wait for peace to arrive. You become it. Not in retreat, not in comfort, but in fire. You don't need a perfect life to be at peace. You just need a meaningful one. And you're already walking it. If this spoke to something inside you, tell me, where in your life are you walking through the fire right now? And what is it turning you into? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Someone might need your story today. And if you want more reflections like this, you know where to find us. Wisdom in the Wreckage.